You are statistically more likely to be ignored in a crowd than by a stranger. It sounds like a paradox of human connection, but it is a cold, hard reality of our psychological wiring. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on a bustling city sidewalk. The air is thick with the scent of roasted coffee and exhaust. People are rushing past you, business people checking their watches, tourists clutching maps, students lost in their headphones. It is a sea of motion, where every individual is an island. Suddenly, the rhythm breaks. A person just a few yards away suddenly collapses onto the pavement. The impact is jarring. You hear the sickening thud of their body hitting the concrete, and the scrape of their face against the ground. In that split second, the world around you stops. People who were walking at full speed freeze in place. They stop, they stare, but and this is the chilling part, they do not move toward the fallen person. Why does your brain literally freeze when you see everyone else standing still? Why does it feel like an invisible wall has been erected between you and your instinct to help? This is what psychologists call the psychological dead zone. In that moment of crisis, your mind begins a frantic, silent calculation. You look at the faces of the people around you. You see their eyes wide with shock, but their feet remain rooted to the ground. Your brain interprets their inaction as a powerful signal. It whispers to you, if no one else is moving, maybe this isn't an emergency. It suggests that perhaps the person is just sleeping, or perhaps it's not serious enough to warrant an interruption of the public peace. This is the trap of social proof, the human tendency to look at others to determine how we should behave in ambiguous situations. But there is a deeper, more haunting layer to this fear. Your brain feels a crushing weight of shared responsibility that somehow makes you feel less responsible. When dozens of people are present, your sense of personal duty doesn't grow. It fragments, shatters into pieces. You think, surely someone else will step in. You assume that someone more qualified, perhaps a doctor or a trained first responder, is already taking charge. In your mind, the burden of action is divided by the number of people present. If there are 10 people watching, you feel like only 1/10 of the responsibility falls on your shoulders. This is known as the diffusion of responsibility. It creates a mental paralysis that keeps an entire crowd frozen in a state of collective hesitation. Each person is waiting for a hero to emerge, but because everyone is waiting for someone else to lead, no one takes the first step. Everyone assumes they aren't the primary protagonist of this tragedy. They are just spectators waiting for a leader who never appears. Think about the panic rising in your chest during those seconds. You want to help. Your heart is hammering against your ribs like a trapped bird, but you feel paralyzed, caught in a loop of looking at the neighbor's face, searching for any sign of movement. When you see no movement, the assumption solidifies. Nobody is doing anything. The longer the silence lasts, the harder it becomes to be the one to break it. The first mover status feels too heavy to claim, but there is a way to shatter this spell instantly. If you find yourself caught in this haunting atmosphere, your brain needs a target. A general cry for help, someone shouting help, or somebody call 911, is often lost in the noise of the crowd or ignored by the diffusion effect. In a crowd, general commands are invisible. They aren't directed at anyone in particular, so no one feels personally responsible for answering them. To break the deadlock, you must cut through the fog and narrow the focus. You must isolate one single person from the group. You must pierce through their mental paralysis by making it personal. Point your finger directly at them. Make eye contact that demands an answer. You must not say, someone call for help. You must say, you in the blue shirt call 911 right now, or you with the medical bag come over here and help me. By doing this, you force their brain to switch gears instantly. You strip away the protection of the crowd. Suddenly, They are no longer a face in a sea of people. They are the only person responsible for the outcome of that specific command. By isolating them, you shatter the diffusion of responsibility and break the loop of social proof. You pull them out of the dead zone and force them into the role of the first mover. This is not just a tip. It is a survival tactic built on the very mechanics of human psychology. When you give a direct command to a specific individual, the bystander effect evaporates. The fog clears, and the person's brain recognizes that they are no longer part of a group. They are the hero the situation requires. The next time you find yourself in a crowd where someone is in need, don't wait for the crowd to move. Don't wait for someone else to lead. Point at one person, give them a direct command, and break the spell.